to obey the instructions of his divine voice, listen to the general introduction, section 3, his answer might well have appealed to the greater wisdom that he tends to attribute to the gods, an appeal which in turn will ultimately derive from a commitment to the idea that actions, including pious ones, should be based on reasons, and not mere fiat, divine or otherwise. In any case, the consequence is that piety will be something to be investigated in itself, rather than being reduced to a study of what the gods love and hate. The second turning point in the dialogue is one marked by Socrates himself. Near the end, he and Euthyphro have begun to identify piety as having something to do with service or slavery to the gods. Socrates asks, what that outcome is that the gods bring about through using us to serve them. And when Euthyphro is unable to give a satisfactory answer, Socrates accuses him of veering off just when you are at the point of enlightening me. If only he'd answered as asked, then they might have got somewhere. Given Socrates' portrayal of himself during his defense against the charge of impiety as the servant or slave of gods, it will presumably not be too wildly speculative to suppose that we are here being given the most delicate of hints that the discussion has come very close to finding out what piety really is, and that it is exemplified in the person and activities of Socrates himself. If so, the Euthyphro is not just an investigation into the nature of piety, but itself an implicit response to Socrates' accusers. Euthyphro, Socrates.
What's changed, Socrates, to make you abandon your usual business in the Lyceum and busy yourself here around the portico of the King Archon instead? I don't suppose for a moment that you've a lawsuit pending with the Archon, as I have.
Athenians certainly don't call it a suit. They call it an indictment.
What do you mean? Someone must have indicted you. I won't accuse you of indicting anyone.
I should think not.
Someone's indicted you.
Exactly.
Who's that?
I scarcely know the man myself, Euthyphro. It appears he's a young person no one knows, but I think they call him by the name of Meletus. The deme he belongs to is Pythias. If you can call to mind a Meletus from Pythias with long straight hair, not much of a beard, but more of a nose.
That doesn't help me, Socrates. But anyway, what's the indictment he's brought against you?
The indictment? No trivial one, I think. It's no mean feat for a young person to have mastered something so important. What he says, at any rate, is that he knows how young people are corrupted and who their corruptors are. And he really must be some sort of expert if he's able to observe my ignorance and the way I use it to corrupt his age group, running off to the city to tell on me, as if she were their mother. Actually, he seems to me to be the only political expert around to be starting from the right place, because it is correct to make a priority of young people, taking care that they turn out as well as possible, just as we'd expect a good farmer to tend to his young plants first, and the others only after that. Just so, probably, Meletus is weeding us out first as the ones who are corrupting the shoots of his young plants, so he says. Next, clearly after this, he'll take care of older age groups and end up bringing about the greatest and most numerous benefits to the city. At any rate, that's how it's likely to turn out, if someone's started as he has.
I'd be delighted if that was so, Socrates, but I'm fearful that the opposite will happen. To put it simply, he seems to me to be starting out to harm the city, from its very hearth, by setting out to wrong you. Just tell me, what exactly is it he says you're doing to corrupt the young?
Strange things, my fine friend. At any rate, by the sound of them. He says, I am a maker of gods, and it's for making new gods and not believing in the ancient ones that he's indicted me. On these very grounds, he says.
I understand, Socrates. It's because you talk, each time it happens, about your divinity having intervened. So he's put together this indictment on the basis that you're innovating in theological matters, and he's going to court in order to misrepresent you, in the knowledge that things like this are easy to misrepresent to the masses. I can tell you, it's the same for me. When I say anything in the assembly about matters to do with the gods, predicting to the audience what's going to happen to them, they laugh at me and say I'm raving.